Welcome back to Football Chronicles. Real Madrid just secured a 2-0 victory over Real Betis, and it looks like we are starting to see some real improvements, especially up front. But it was not all smooth sailing, and there's still plenty to talk about from this match. Let's break it all down in this video in 5 things that we learned from Real Madrid's victory over Real Betis.
Tonight we're running on the right track. Never gonna look back.
Part 1. Mbappe shines in a much improved attack. First off, let's give credit where it's due. Kylian Mbappé had a good game. This was by far his best performance in a Madrid shirt in La Liga. From making those dangerous runs into the box to dribbling past defenders, Mbappe looked hungry and dangerous. Sure, he had a few heavy touches and maybe some nerves early on, but he got into the right positions and finally netted his first La Liga goal at the Bernabeu. And then of course, there was the coolly taken penalty to seal the brace both for him and Real Madrid in this match. Whereas Rodrygo and Vinicius also had their moments. Rodrygo tested the Betis keeper with a couple of very powerful shots and grew more comfortable as the game went on, especially in linking up well with Carvajal on the right side of the pitch. Vinicius on the other hand was his usual self, cutting in from the left and causing all sorts of problems for the defense. But one thing about Vinicius' performance in this match was that he looked even more dangerous once Fran Garcia came on and started overlapping properly, which allowed Vinicius to get into the box and into dangerous areas, which is how he won the penalty that Mbappe converted. I also need to mention Vinicius giving the penalty to Kylian Mbappe. It was a brilliant display of team spirit, of leadership, of selflessness, and just showing everyone that he is a team player and he wants this team to do well. It also shows you that Vinicius cares about Mbappe and this attacking trio actually working for the club, because that is why he even went an extra step after giving the penalty to motivate the crowd to chant for Mbappe, so Mbappe feels more confident and can score the penalty more easily. Now I'm not denying it's great to see the attacking trio starting to gel, showing better link-up play and more fluid movement up front. But they are not quite there yet, and this game was a big step in the right direction. But one thing that they really need to work on is finishing and being calm when they are trying to finish crucial chances. And of course, they still need to be more creative with each other and not be solely dependent on fullbacks or the midfielders to create chances. Point number 2. The midfield and the fullbacks finally showed up. Now let's talk about the midfield and fullbacks, because we have in every past post-match analysis video. It took about 20 minutes for the likes of Fede Valverde and Tchouaméni to really get into the game. But once they did, they were everywhere. Fede, as usual, had a well-rounded performance. The backheel assist for Mbappe's goal, absolutely world class. He's been Madrid's engine all season. He's consistent, reliable, and always impactful on all spheres on the pitch. Defensively, attack-wise, creatively. What can Fede Valverde not do? Tchouaméni, on the other hand, had a bit of a rocky start with some very bad tackles and misplaced passes early on in the game. But then he completely turned that around. He dominated the midfield from then on and won aerial duels after aerial duels, made crucial tackles at the edge of the box, and even blocked some shots by Real Betis. If Tchouaméni can keep this up, we'll see him back to his best, and the only thing Tchouaméni needs to do now is stay consistent. I do believe that if Tchouaméni and Fede can keep this form up and keep the performance from this game up to the next game, our midfield will start performing better in all spheres, attack-wise and defense-wise, and that is only good for the club. Now, let's not forget about the fullbacks. We have to talk about them too. Carvajal had a solid game, both defensively and offensively. He overlapped and inverted when needed, as per the game demanded, as per the team demanded, nearly setting up Mbappe with a perfect cross too. Fran Garcia, on the other hand, came up in the 65th minute for Mendy, who was not having a good game, and gave Vinicius the support he needed on the left, making the right runs and looked very composed in the defense too. It was not a great performance by Fran Garcia, but it was certainly very encouraging. And if he can keep this level up, we might see him starting more often over Mendy. But he needs to be consistent and he needs to do both the duties of offense and defense equally well. Point number 3. Brahim Diaz is the super sub. One player who really stood out this match apart from Kylian Mbappé was Brahim Diaz. He came off the bench and was nothing short of brilliant in this match. Today he unlocked the Betis defense, starting the play for Mbappe's first goal and releasing Vinicius into the box for the penalty that we converted. He even nearly set up Endrick for what could have been our third goal. Brahim looked so comfortable on the ball and always kept possession and showed his creativity this match especially. If Brahim can continue performing like this, he is going to be one of our most important creative players this season. Off the bench or starting, it does not matter. He will contribute to the team. He needs to keep performing at this level consistently week in, week out so he can become the player he truly is meant to be. Point number 4. The defense is still shaky and concerns still linger. Now, while the overall team performance was much better than the game against Las Palmas, the defense still leaves a lot to be desired. Our box is so easy for our opponents to get into, especially in the early stages of the game. I've noticed this pattern over the last few La Liga games. Betis had a few moments where Carvajal or Militao were too slow to close down their markers, leading to some chaotic defending in the box. But the point still remains, even when we dominate the possession, because we had 60% possession in this game, we are still seeing these moments of defensive uncertainty, especially at the edge of our box, where our midfielders are forced to tackle to win the ball back. And not just one tackle, multiple tackles. So we need to tighten up and stay compact, especially against set pieces and the moves made by the opponents on the edge of our box. I'm not sure if it is a tactical issue or just a lack of defensive focus from our defenders. But Carlo needs to address this quickly if we want to make our box impenetrable. Because at this current level, we would be too easy to score against for a team who are clinical. And I mean it. And it could be a huge issue against stronger teams like Liverpool or City if we play them in the Champions League. Point number 5. Penalty controversies and Carlo's substitutions. This was a game of penalties, or rather the penalties that we did not get. Apart from the one penalty decision that we got our way this game, which we converted to score our second goal of the match, there were 2 other penalty shouts by the team which should have gone our way as per me. The first was a handball that looked pretty clear to me. The defender's arm was in an unnatural position outside his body, and in most leagues around Europe, that's a penalty all day, because many refs will give that as a penalty. The second one was a tackle on Ceballos, which was more debatable since Ceballos had lost control of the ball, but still, not getting either of those calls could have been a bigger talking point if the game had not gone our way like it did. I would like to hear your takes on these penalty decisions specifically. Do you believe they were penalties or do you not? Because I think the first one was a definite penalty and the second one I can be a little 50-50 over. Finally, I also have to give a shout out to Carlo Ancelotti for making the right subs and improving the team's performance from the last few matches. It's clear he expects more from the team and more from the squad. And even though we are not at our best yet, clearly it's encouraging to see the improvements. Carlo himself said in the post-match interview today that we can do better, and I could not agree more with him. He has been making the right decisions, he has been putting the substitutions out at the right time, and he needs to keep this going on. He has my full backing because he is the right manager for this team, and I really hope he succeeds in winning us the treble this season because that would be just lovely. So, there you have it. A 2-0 win with plenty of positives but also some areas that still need work. What did you think of the game? Do you think this is a turning point for Madrid's season? I do think it is. Let me know in the comment section, and as always, do not forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a post-match breakdown. Until next time, Hala Madrid.